My name's Aaron, welcome back to my channel. How are you? I'm fantastic and I'm doing really well. Today I'm reviewing Roses on Ice by Kilian. This is £165 for 50ml, 580 for 250ml. It better walk my dogs and fill my car full of fuel for that amount of money. Oh dear, what's it going on about? Talking about distilling rose with cucumber. Anyone for notes of gin distilled with rose and cucumber? The perfume Roses on Ice opens with the aquatic freshness of cucumber, the uplift of juniper berries, creating an icy sensation, rounded in an accord with voluptuous rose centiflora. Upon the dry down of sandalwood and musk, the scent expresses sharp yet deeply infused character of gin consumed in its ideal. The notes are cucumber, rose, and sandalwood. Do we have our bottles of Roses on Ice by Kilian? Are we engaged with our high self? Let's get testing. The box is super compliant. And this is a interesting color for a rose fragrance. So I love rose very much. I love rose and jasmine. I love Turkish rose because it's darker, richer, full throttle sexuality. It just smells very dark. Rose centiflora is lighter, has different sort of elements to it. And then you have Rose Absolute, which I don't like at all, actually. I like what I like. But rose is called rose because it's rose and it's rose coloured, in my opinion, of course. This is top heavy. Now this reminds me of Toy Boy by Machino, which actually I'm going to review again because subsequently I really like it. But when I review it again, I'll tell you about it. This has a similarity to Toy Boy. Top heavy, and the note that you are detecting is called Undercover. And Undercover smells of kiwi, if you work with it in some way. It smells of cucumber in another, and if you use it with other raw materials, it can smell like Parma violets. So it's a really good aroma chemical. It's used a lot in men's fragrances to smell of cucumber. And you can use it in lots of different ways. With rose aroma chemicals like phenyl ethyl alcohol, there's another one beginning with P, citronellal, linalool, all of that stuff, you get this effect. This does have a ozonic quality to it, and this does have like an icy quality to it. Now, Kilian to me, from what I reviewed, has a darkness to it. And Kilian has the older ones. They're not really for me because it's not my thing, but for me they're always like quite rock star. The names are quite sort of rock. They're not sort of like pop music, and they've always got that dark, sexy quality to this. This smells like virginal pop music. And I think if you put this on your skin, and if you love Kilian, and you love the way that they're dark and smoky or dark and intoxicating, or, they're quite narcotic as a range, which I really appreciate, and I love the names, I think you'd be disappointed because I don't feel this is in keeping with the by Kilian ethos, which is, as I've explained, is like rock music. It's not really like this. This is light, airy, ozonic, cucumber, rose fragrance. I like my fragrances. How I personally love fragrances are 30% naturals, and the other 70% is made up from aroma chemicals to give it that really good finish. I love musk accords. I love sort of woods. I love all these sort of things. This feels really simplistic. And this, I think, in my opinion, was built for profit. And as you've heard in my reviews before, I particularly think that Perfumery should go back to the artist, and it should be art-led, not profit-led, because when you lead with profit, you get this sort of finish to it, which is a little bit devastating. I personally couldn't do it, be told what the concentrate has to cost, because then you have to eliminate probably my most favorite things. This just smells like cucumber, iced water. On to my final thoughts. I I really don't like it at all. I think it's a shame, actually. I understand maybe with sort of like the bottle, they're trying to go for an alcoholic thing, but rose is so exciting. There's so many directions you can go with it. You can add trace amounts and get a massive complexivity in it, or you can go quite high in it and get a different feel with it. This just sort of feels like built for profit. So let me go through marks for you. This is legal safe compliant, so it gets a 2 out of 2. I think that's fantastic. The price, I think it's way overpriced. £165 for 50ml. In my opinion, I think it should be half of that, £80-90. Longevity and projection, this is pretty good. You get that nice airy quality. So on a plus side, you have that lovely airy quality to it, which I think is also awesome, actually. That's the plus of it. Do I like it? I don't like it at all. For me personally, I'd love it to be kept in line with the by Kilian ethos. And this is starting to go off sour. Not the best, to be honest. How would I improve upon it? If you're going to do light, airy, aquatic, ozonic, you still need to base it out. And this would have been fantastic with some sandalwood raw materials to smooth it out. This would have been fantastic with ambers, some sandalwood-like raw materials. Javanol, Nolimbanol, Bangalore, that would have been fantastic, wrapped around the middle. And then a lot more naturals put in. I mean, patchouli to darken it out. It smells so synthetic, which is not a problem. And that's not my problem. But for me personally, I love to see a third naturals to 2/3 aroma chemicals. You get the magic happening then. And this to me just feels like an unfinished symphony. This feels built for cost, and it feels disappointing, especially when you're dealing with one of my most favorite raw materials, which is rose, which I use loads. And rose is one of the most beautiful raw materials that you can get. And I personally think that I would love to think of my subscribers as getting raw materials and starting to smell stuff. That's what I hope you do. And you can buy 1 ml of Rose Absolute for not particularly too much, £20-30. Get it and just smell it. Just the tiniest amounts. And you'll smell what real rose is like. And it's not feminine. That's another thing I want to say is like rose is absolutely not feminine. It has that connotation of being quite feminine, but it's badass. And unfortunately, it's going to have that association with this rather than what I associate with rose. So I hope you love that review. Thumbs up and subscribe for more fascinating, interesting content. Lots of moving hands and lots of fragrance reviews. I hope you're staying safe and well, and I'll see you soon.